Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Chad Hepner, the head football coach at Grosse Pointe South. Chad, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Of course, I know you're a couple practices in. How are things going so far? You have completed the first 2 days of helmets.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's been fine. It's been good overall. After all our summer practices these days of just wearing helmets, it's gotten a little bit, mundane and repetitive. There's only so many things you can do. So, while today and yesterday were productive, players and coaches, we're all excited to get some pads on tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, the shells go on tomorrow and Thursday, and then Friday, of course, it is full pads until the end of the year. What is the outlook for Grosse Pointe South this coming year?
Well, I mean, we've been pretty consistent, and our expectations are high every year. So, we feel like we want to, stay at least where we've been, if not improve. Now it's going to be tough because we just graduated a class that was fantastic for 2 years, and so there's going to be a lot of new faces on both sides of the ball for us. We're returning three starters on defense and four on offense. So that's never ideal, but we feel like we got some talented kids coming up, especially that our junior class that can help us.
Absolutely. Now it's time to talk about those kids because now we got to talk about some of the returners and some of the names to watch out for Grosse Pointe South.
Yeah.
So,
You want to know some of those
yeah, just
guys
some of the
are?
names to watch and some of the returners to talk about.
Well, I guess we can start with a quarterback. It's going to be a player named Sam Rouleau. So he's going to be a first-year starters quarterback. He's a junior, but we saw his athleticism last year. We played him at slot receiver and even in the backfield a little bit. He had a ton of yards and five receiving touchdowns and five rushing touchdowns. So as a sophomore last year, so. We've seen that he's ready for this level, and now we are excited to get the ball in his hands on every play. So while he doesn't have experience a whole lot at quarterback, we're pretty confident he's going to step in and be a playmaker for us.
Absolutely. Some other position battles to what other names to watch out.
Yeah, on offense, we're bringing back two starting offensive linemen, Alex Footy and Will Scott. Will Scott's our center. Both those guys had a great offseason, so they bring some experience. Those are the guys we're gonna rely on up front, for leadership and to mentor some other guys. Another guy we're excited to bring back is Trey Grabowski at receiver. He's another guy that was a breakout receiver last year as a sophomore for us, and has shown real capability this summer in 7-on-7. So that's kind of the guys on offense. Oh, I should talk about we got a tight end who's going to be a first year starter. He just came into our program before last year, and Stanton Cap was his name. And he's had a great summer. He looks like he's going to be a weapon for us. He's about 6'5", 210, 215. So we think we're going to get him involved as well on offense. So
Absolutely.
um, in the backfield, we got two other juniors, Charlie Bedsworth and Charlie Michelotti. They were, again, two standout sophomores for us last year. And so they're both looking real good carrying the ball. And they'll both be players on defense. Charlie Michelotti is should be a starting linebacker, and Charlie Bedsworth is a returning starter at safety from last year. So those are some of the guys that are going to be certainly contributors, probably on both sides of the ball. Um, our one returning defensive lineman as a starter is AJ Zinalewski, and he'll be a 3-year starter at three tech, and he's just a heck of a player. Um, Teams just have a hard time finding out ways to block him. So while we don't have a lot of returning pieces in place, the couple that we do, we know that we got some solid kids.
Absolutely. Defensively, where are you guys at?
Well, I talked about AJ up front, and then we're going to have some other new faces on the D line, some good position battles at our nose tackle position right now. We're not sure who that's going to be. Our returning linebacker is Ben Kosick, and he's just playing real aggressive this year, playing with a lot of confidence after a year under his belt. So he's looking to be a factor at the Sam linebacker. Um, and then the other guys are pretty new. I talked about Charlie Besworth at safety. But other than that, we're gonna see how it shakes out in the secondary right now. Our middle linebacker is going to be Troop Linnell. He's a junior, so first year varsity player, but seeing what he did last year in the JV and what he's done so far in camp, I think he's going to step into that position well.
Absolutely. Now we've talked about some of the names to watch. It's time to talk about the upcoming schedule. Of course, starting off on August 28th, home against Detroit Renaissance, and then we'll go into week two, September 5th at Romeo, September 12th, home against Utica, September 19th, home against Lance Cruz, September 26th at Roseville, October 3rd at Lance Cruz North, October 10th, home against St. Clair Shores Lakeview, October 17th at Anchor Bay, and finishing out the regular season, October 24th, home against Grosse Pointe North. So a pretty good schedule as always. You know the Mac White's always going to be is going to be tough. There's some good teams, and what's a good what is the league going to be like this year?
You know, it, it's hard to know. A lot. I think teams like us, they graduated some guys and they're bringing guys in, so it should be competitive. We've been fortunate to win the last few years. I'd say the way that it's been the last couple of years is been a battle between us and Roseville for that league title. I'd say. We're probably the two front runners based on history, but I know that Lance Cruz has just gotten better and better each of the last few years. And you never know what you're going to get with teams like Utica and Lakeview. They could put it together. They could be tough battles. So we like I said, we got high expectations. We anticipate to be in the running to win, but we know we got some good competition out there.
Absolutely. For the next couple weeks, what's the plan before the start of the season against Renaissance?
Well, right now, we're in the phase where we're just focusing on us. We're not in any type of game planning mode or anything like that. A lot of installation on both sides of the ball. Tomorrow is first day in pads. Obviously, now we get a little bit more of the physical preparation started. And we're gonna have to see, how many reps of contact we want to have. We got a little bit of a smaller roster this year. So we may want to limit some of that, be real strategic with our collision, our contact days. But really, it's just a lot of fundamentals right now. We always have a high importance on special teams. So all those little things, we got to get those established now because, practice time gets real limited once we start game weeks.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Chad, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to spend with us, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.